What's going on, y'all? Today's guest is Lady J Bookums. Lady J is a digital marketing expert and music business expert who offers all kinds of courses, advice, and resources for independent musicians and how they can take their career take charge of their career and be in control of their journey in the music business, right? Where you don't have to rely on labels, on money, or anyone else. How you can take your career in your own hands and be successful in the music industry. Lady J has all kinds of amazing advice on her Instagram channel and all the different podcasts that she's been on. So definitely check her out. I have links to her Instagram channel in the notes down here below. And please take a quick second to subscribe to the channel, leave a comment. We'd love to engage with y'all in the comments. And I hope you enjoy this conversation with the amazing Lady J Bookums.
Live the life you love.
All right, we are live. I'm excited to introduce everyone to Miss Lady J Bookums. Welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me. What's up, y'all?
So I was going through your Instagram feed a bit, and it's all amazing advice and amazing tips, which is great. But I want to know a little bit more about you. So what's something that you're currently really interested in outside of music? That could be, maybe a TV show, an app, a new artist, exercise, a book. What's something that you're currently interested in?
Right now I am into like real estate.
Okay.
I'm just into like other things that are making me money right now. So it's like I've been into real estate. I invested into a property, which I feel like a lot of people should do. Artists,
Absolutely.
Get you some property, get you some revenue coming in monthly, stuff like that. But I'm always looking for like different things that's going to make me money. On the flip of that, one new thing that I've actually been doing, which is kind of still in the entertainment industry, is, I have a 9-year-old niece, and she decided she wanted to be an actress. She wrote it out. She wrote her goals out, which was crazy because this is something I teach artists to do, like write your goals out, and then let's write action steps to accomplishing those goals.
Yeah.
So she literally like wrote those out in her notebook. And then, she said she wants to be on, bless you if you sneeze. She wants to be on Netflix. She wants to be on a Netflix original kids show,
so cool.
So she wrote her goals out, and then she put accountability people, and then she, wrote me, and she just calls me auntie, but I'm one of her people. So we actually been like getting into scripts, so now I'm kind of starting to learn about acting and actors and stuff and getting into that. So I'm kind of like picking that up new.
That's awesome.
Because of her. So yeah, that's what I've been doing.
That's cool. I think in Atlanta there is a office for Central Casting. Are you familiar with Central Casting?
I'm not, but she's not here. She's not even here.
Oh, okay.
She's in a different part of the world, and she just FaceTimes me, and we have our script reading and stuff like that over the FaceTime, or really over Zoom. But yeah, so we're gonna get her into something, but probably like an online thing.
That's so cool. I love that. I love that she literally wrote her goals out, and at 9 years old, getting detail with specific steps. That's cool. Just an inspiring auntie to learn from.
Definitely. I was surprised. I was like proud because she had my name down there because that's my little homie.
You should be proud.
So I was like, yeah, that's my girl. But
I love that.
But yeah, we're getting into that. But yeah, she's doing some online stuff, which all of us artists, whatever, we don't really have any excuses, why we're not getting to things, because so much education is online. Like, to be almost anything, you can learn it online. You can learn it on YouTube for free, Google for free, or you can pay a little bit, still go online. So
true. There's so many amazing resources out there. Speaking of the real estate stuff, so it's funny. I listen to Joe Rogan a lot, and whenever the guest talks about like MMA or hunting, I know he's going to go there. And for me, it's real estate. Whenever a guest talks about that, my audience probably knows I'm going to go there. So I guess if you don't mind me asking, like, what type of property did you get for your first property? Is it a single family home? Is it a multi-family home? Tell me a little about
the
that.
Multi-family. So it's a townhouse.
Okay.
Connected, I have my real estate agent. She's kind of like a family auntie, She like many people in my family work with her. So, she was taking me to some spots, and I was like, look, I want to get my first house. And my expectations was all the way up here. You know, my budget might not have been as high as the expectations, you know,
right.
so she had to bring me down, like, hold on, you're naming a lot of stuff, but
bring you back to earth.
right, your budget not talking about that, right? So that was kind of crazy for me because that was my first experiences. So looking at the different properties, I was like, like either I need to be making more money because I just still wanted what I wanted. But I was like, man, I got to make this investment because I just like to put my money into something that I know can make me more money.
Absolutely. Make your money work for you.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and instead of like literally instead of holding it in my bank account, because I would probably spend it up, you know, like if you had $1,000, you would probably run through that really fast if you didn't invest into that. Right.
Yeah. So true.
So yeah, I looked at some spots, finally saw the one that I settled on, and I did some renovations, and I lived in there for like a few months. But I am a person that likes to move around. Sometimes it's hard to commit to certain things.
Sure.
I like to be free, you know?
Yeah.
So I decided to move out so that I can move around and have that property start making money for me. So I ended up moving out, but I left it furnished, and I move some people in.
That's awesome. That's so cool. I'm a big fan of the Bigger Pockets podcast and their books and everything. And I was listening to their stuff and learning about house hacking. And I feel like that's such a good strategy for artists because a lot of artists need creative ways to make money because that's one of the biggest challenges they have is having money to record, money for marketing. And I feel like saving up money, becoming debt free, buying a house and house hacking that. I mean, you know, I don't even know much about house hacking, but there's like luxury house hacks and then like extreme house hacks. Extreme being you sleep on your couch and you rent out your bedrooms. Yeah. Or luxury house hack is, which what I would probably have to do because being married and having a kid, like you have a house with a house in the back, like an additional dwelling unit, and you rent that out for extra income. But it's such a great way for people to have cash flow.
Right. So yeah, that's working out for me.
That's cool. I love it. That's so
I'm
cool.
trying to work on my next one soon. You know, I like to get like an apartment building, maybe like a 6-unit, 4 to 6 unit. But yeah, that's one of my goals.
Yeah. I mean, just spend a little more, one more minute on the real estate stuff. Do you have any tips for people that are new to that idea of having like other investments to create cash flow for them? For example, because the initial thought I had when I started learning about real estate is there's no way I can put down, 10% on a house or 20% on a house. I mean, 20% is even better, right? You put down 20%, you get such a better interest rate, such a better loan. Right. And you don't have to live in it. Like there's FHA loans where you put down 3.5%, which is nothing, but now we have to live in that house for 2 out of 5 years. But I guess any tips for people that might be interested in that and may want to scratch an itch?
I think when it comes to buying your first home, the first thing you want to do, which is one of the things that my real estate agent told me to do, is get your credit together. Yeah. You need like a certain credit score to even get a loan. She told me like 680. I think she told me, she was like, you need to have at least a 680. I think that's what she said. Don't quote me though. Okay. But she said, get your credit together, especially if you're not the person that's just going to pay cash, like cash it out, Yeah. If you're that person, then you it. But but yeah, so she told me to do that, and then go to the bank with the 680 credit score. And a few things, if you're looking to build credit, you can go to your bank and see if they do like the secured credit card where you put money on it first. And then, after you have a few good payments of that, they start upping your limit or whatever. So that is another thing that they suggest a lot, just to start building your credit up. Cause some people just don't have no credit. It's not even that they have bad credit. So yeah, do things like that to start getting your credit up, and then go to your bank or a bank to see if you can get the loan. And she told me to have you need at least 20%. Yeah. She didn't even give me the 10% option. That's why I was surprised when you said it, like, hold on, 10.
Wait, what? Well, I love it because I feel like that's such a smarter and safer way to invest in a house. And I'm saving for 20%, and it feels like I'm going to save for a while. I got my 6-month emergency fund, and now I'm saving towards that 20%. But having a family, I'm not comfortable with putting on 3.5% or taking some crazy risk that other people are doing out there. But 20%,
Right.
that's a good real estate agent right
And
there.
you know what's crazy? I had one of my mentors teach me a little system, even when it comes to saving money, because a lot of us entrepreneurs, we're probably working other jobs. We probably have like other hustles that we're doing, right? And you know, she gave me this tip when it came to saving, because some people don't know, like, how do I break this down, this money that I'm getting in? So she told me, like, whatever you bring in, put 50% of that to like the bigger picture, like the fund. So let's say from my property, that income, I'll take 50% of that and put that to the house fund, right? So the house fund covers all of the house bills and anything that may happen later that I have to pay for. And then I take 30% of that. And this next half can like be what you want it to be, but 30% of that I take from, let's say if I was making $100, I would still take that 30% from the $100, and that would be to pay myself.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And then the last 20%, you would put that in your bank, to your savings account. So that's what you don't touch, period. And you can switch that around. You can do pay yourself 20% and put 30% in your savings. And then your savings can go towards paying your debt off. Right. So that's how she told me to break it down. 50% to whatever the bigger picture is, which was my house fund, 30% to myself, 20% to a savings.
That's such a good tip.
Yeah, then you can start saving up.
So many good tips there, right? I think the key thing is saving and building your credit up. And I can attest, and I guess to preface this, none of this is financial advice. You should speak to a financial expert, right?
Yeah, thank you for that disclaimer, because I don't want nobody coming back saying, Lady J said.
we're not financial analysts, we're music business professionals. But the whole credit thing, you're doing a secured credit card. So I had horrible credit. So I got the secured credit card for $500. Basically, I used $500 of my own money,
right?
Gave that to the bank. They hold on to that, and then now they gave me a credit card of $500. But if I ever not paid it, they still have my original money. So it's like a secured credit card.
Secured for them.
Secured for them, yeah, not for me. So in a year, I literally went from having horrible credit, being in the 500s, to now almost being at a 680. So it makes such a big difference by just something as small as that.
It's almost time.
It's time. I'm almost there.
Right.
I love it. How did you get started in the music business?
So I have been doing music myself for a long time. So I write and record music myself. Okay. So years ago when I was younger, like when I was probably like right when I graduated high school, I had got up with some people who had like their own studio set up. I started to go over there just to be around, you know, the setup and start learning about it. And then after a while, that's when I started actually like writing and recording my own songs. And then before I was 21, I was probably like 19, 20, we ended up getting our own studio. So I lived in, I'm from Maryland, but at this time I was living in Pennsylvania as I was growing up around that time. So we had our own studio out there and we recorded and everything. I ended up going to college for business management, and I graduated college in Pennsylvania, and then I moved to Atlanta right after that to go to school for audio engineering.
Okay.
And it was kind of like a thought process, like, oh, I want to do music. I really want to learn how to like record my own stuff, like really, really, so I don't have to wait around for people. Yeah. Let me go to school for audio engineering. So I literally moved out of my apartment. I moved to Atlanta by myself, you know, and I'm coming from like up north. And I was in college for like 3 months. I was living in a dorm, and then I got literally kicked out of college. But like right before I got kicked out of college, and it wasn't because I was like failing or anything. Like, don't come for me. It was more so because of the money. Like they couldn't get the loans in after I already moved. They told me like, oops, we didn't get the loans.
Right.
So it was like a crazy thing. But while I was in school, I ended up meeting like this person at school who had a studio session at like this prominent studio in Atlanta. It was called Hot Beats Recording Studio. And like back then they only really dealt with like more major clients. Like they had like the a higher I would say, fee for their studio time.
Right.
So I knew somebody who had a session there, and they was like, "You want to go?" So I was like, "Yeah." I went to the session, and I was looking around like, "Yo, they got real stars in here." Like the first time I was there, I met Lloyd. You know, like, and I don't know if you know the singer Lloyd.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he like just pranced by me with his hair just flipping in the wind, and I was like, "Was that Lloyd?" Like I was going crazy. So I went to the front desk and I asked. I was like, "Who's the manager here?" And the guy came up, and I was like, "How can I work here? Like, can I intern here? Like, what can I do?" And he was like, "We bring on people first as interns." And then from there, I just started interning. So I was literally working there for probably like 2008. Yeah, 2008 to 2012. I worked at that studio. I met a lot of like major artists out here. You know, we used to chill in like crazy sessions. Used to be super fun, but I got to learn a lot about the recording process, right? And I actually ended up getting fired from there in 2012. No. I did, after like literally spending my whole like adult life in that building. It was crazy. I had like a falling out with the owner. Like we cool now, you know. Okay. It's all good now. But he fired me. But it was one of those things like, yo, I'm tired of getting fired, because like he would get mad and be like, "You're fired." But then you would come back and be like, "Yo, we good?" And he'd be like, "We're good." So he'd just be mad, right? But that last time, it just felt different. It was like hitting different for me, because I was like, "Yo, I'm tired of you trying to fire me, because like this is my life." Like I literally was at the studio all day, because not only was we learning and working, we was like having fun. Like who wouldn't want to work in a place that all the celebrities come, you know?
Right.
So it was like super crazy. Like the judges used to come and record their memoirs, and like it's like so many people that you would see on TV used to come there. So I got like, it was crazy. But at that point is when I was trying to decide like, what am I going to do with my life after I'm fired from this only place I want to be. And I got into I went to a showcase one night where independent artists was performing. So I was like, I know like some artists, like I know some indie artists. I can put on a show and have them perform. So I started to do that. And I did that probably from like 2012, like all the way up till when I moved to Texas. I threw some shows there, but not at first, because I had to learn some stuff out there.
Sure.
But I ended up having shows out there like towards the end of the time that I was out there. But that kind of is what like started me working with independent artists, doing the showcases. And as I was doing the showcases, I started to do like online promotion at the same time. And then that's how the promotion kind of drifted off into like me teaching, because I was learning so much information, and people would ask me questions and I'd be like, "I'm not your manager. Like, I'm not your book." Like, you know, but it was like, and the business person in me is like, yo, you have to create something that people can learn from, because I can't have a whole bunch of one-on-one conversations saying the same thing. So I took a course one day. I paid for a course, guys, that taught me how to create a course, like how to create something.
What was the course?
It was by my mentor. Her name is Danielle Leslie.
Okay.
The course is called Course from Scratch: How to Create Your Own Online Course. And it doesn't matter like what industry you're in. It's like anybody can create a course, or, you know, a training material or something like that. So yeah, I took that first before I put something together for the first time, because I didn't want to just be out here crazy. And I learned how to put a course together, and I put my first course together and just kind of threw it out there. And as I put the course together, I was still like putting out just advice. And I didn't even mean it. Like, I know you said you saw my Instagram. I didn't even mean to like start making all of these videos that were like tips. Like I did one day. I had cleaned out my whole Instagram account. I was like rebranding because I literally had been off of Instagram really for probably about like a year, 2 years, because in 2016, that's when I moved to Texas. But a few months later, my younger brother passed away. We had gotten into an accident.
Sorry to
hear
that.
And yeah, it was crazy. It was really crazy. But we got into this accident and he passed away. And this was literally like, I think like 2 or 3 months after I moved there. And that's when I kind of stopped getting on social media. I lost a lot of followers. You know, and I just went through my process. I had to like fall back a little bit. But when I jumped back on, because I got to the point where it was like, okay, I was really down, you know, and I was like, I got to get back to doing what I love, which was like working with artists. And that's when I ended up throwing my first show out there. But that's also when I was like, okay, I got to get back online. So I literally cleaned out my whole Instagram account, like deleted everything. You know, I saved anything that I was like, I don't want to lose forever. But I deleted all of that stuff. And this is at the same time I'm taking this course that's teaching me how to put my own course together, but also teaches you about like branding when it comes to your social media profiles. Because for a lot of us, our Instagram account, that's more important than our actual website, because that is the first point of contact where new fans or new consumers or whatever you want to call them, that's where they first see us a lot of times, is on one of the platforms that they love. And then once they check out our content and they feel like, yo, I trust you, you know, I like this content, I'm learning from it, or it's, you know, it's giving me some type of trigger, you know, they're not going to go to a whole nother platform. They got to like you on whatever platform they like to use. And then you can send them off to your other platforms, right? So she spoke a lot about cleaning up your content and asking yourself like, yo, is this content, she calls it tasty content, right? And which means like, does your content teach you something? That's for the T. You know, does it teach other people something when they look at your content, right? The E is for, does it, I'm sorry, tasty. I was thinking teaching. The A is for action. So it's like, does it make people take some type of action? And for artists, it's like, yo, the action that you want people to take is for them to like click the link in your bio and go stream your music, or click the link and go buy some merchandise, right? So it's like every piece of content, you always want to ask yourself, like, is this making people take some type of action? And when they first follow you, of course, you want them to take the action of actually following you, right? Like following you, being engaged, liking, comment, like all of that stuff. So yeah, you know, that's when I started cleaning up my own content and really asking myself like, that, how do I want this to go? But then I dropped my video, like just a random video, and I was just like, I forget what the first topic was, but it was just something that people kept asking me. So I made a video and put it on my Instagram, and it literally ended up doing like really, really well. You know, I got a lot of like random new engagement with people I didn't know and stuff. So I was like, maybe I should like make another video.
Maybe do some more of those,
Right. So and especially because when we're thinking about our content, we have to ask ourselves like, what kind of content do we want to commit to making, right? Because like one thing that I know about me, I'm not really a photo girl, you know, I'm not a selfie girl. So I was like, it's really hard for me to just be taking pictures. Like my sister, she also is a content creator. She also is an entrepreneur, and online, like she is the one who just be snapping the pictures like everywhere she goes so that she can put that on her Instagram, right? And I'm just like, I'm not that person. Like I just don't got it in me, you know? I don't know the angles. I don't know what it is. It just it's just different, right?
I can totally relate.
Right. But when I did the video, I was like, yo, I'm comfortable because like, first of all, you only see like this much of me. Like, it don't matter what I got on, you know, some shorts, it don't even matter, you know? And I felt like with video, you can just be a little bit more of yourself. So I was just more comfortable for some reason doing video. Even though when I did my first video, I was more like uptight and kind of like more proper, like, you know, like, let me say this the right way.
Very professional.
Right. You know, but yeah, I got like good reaction. I did another one. I got like really good reaction. So I was like, I can do this. I don't have to worry about taking pictures. I don't have to worry about any other content.
You do that all day.
Content. Yeah, you know, and I had a lot of stuff on my mind, like a lot of questions that was coming through. So I started doing that, and I made sure that I had like the same style with every video or the same format, so it can look very branded, you know, if we want to say anything. And yeah, that started to be my thing, which helped me with reaching a lot of new artists, because us as content creators or whatever, like our content is really just bait. Like we
Right.
use the bait to catch the fish, reel the fish in,
Yep.
right? And now we just do what we want with them. And not to say that, y'all, but it's just like now once you got people in, now they're gonna buy into you. Now you have that that lane to like really communicate with them, to really talk to them, to sell to them, to promote to
Right.
them, all of that, right? Because at the end of the day, we all buy into the things that we actually love, right?
Well, it's all
Or
about
things,
taking the potential customers on a journey, right? So first you got to build trust, then you got to build educate them on what you do and what else you have out there, and
right,
hopefully get them to a point where they opt into something, whether it's an email list, an SMS
right,
list, or whatever, and then become loyal fans where they will pretty much buy whatever you're putting out.
right. And see, I think a lot of people get scared when it comes to that like money thing, you know, like we all talk about like, oh, let's get more streams, but we never really talk about like how do you actually get your money, like besides your streams, other things. And that's why when it comes to like artists, there's a lot of artists that I know that will say I've been doing music for years and years and years, and I'm like, but how much money have you made?
Yeah,
Because
so many stories like that.
Right. One harsh truth, everybody, is that if you're doing music and not making money, music is more so your hobby.
Right.
If you're making money, then that's when it turns into a profession, right? So we try to kind of like focus on that. Even with my membership, like I'm always focusing on like when you have influence of any kind, when people are coming to you because they love your music, they like your inspiration, they like your podcast, whatever they like from you, at some point they're going to be looking for something to receive. Like, what can I receive? Do you got a shirt? Do you got a hat? Like, they're looking to buy something. So even me, that is the reason why with my content on my page, I don't really say on my page, buy my product, buy my course. I don't really end with that on my videos. I don't talk about that because at the end of the day, I have a lot of artists, they see my video, they feel like my bait caught their attention, reeled them in, and now they're asking me, what can I pay you for? Can I buy a consultation? Can I buy, you got a book? You like, what do you got? You got some services? Like, they're just ready to pay me for things. So
if they come like that with that, so I'm sorry to cut you off, but if they come to you like that with that approach and that mindset, now you know you're going to have someone that's not just going to pay for your product, but someone that's also going to be a loyal fan, customer, and hopefully stick with you for not just this one time, but for other things that you offer down the road as well.
Right, exactly. And I think at the end of the day, like a lot of independent artists, when you think about things more so on the business side than just like, I want to be an artist and I want to have fun with this, you start to move differently and you start to like view things differently, because all of your major artists, if you look at it, they all have things that they get money from that's outside of music, whether it be clothing. Cardi B, she got a partnership with Fashion Nova, right? Drake has a partnership with Nike or something. I think he got like a handful of them right now, but you know what I'm saying? But it's like they have to find other things outside of music that brings in money as well. And then we as the fans go buy Fashion Nova because Cardi B got the Fashion Nova shirt on and it looked nice, right?
Exactly.
And then we're like, boom, we're gonna go buy that. Like, we're gonna do what she does, and the stuff looks good. Not that we're following her, but it's like now they're selling other things, and I think artists need to understand, like, you guys are gonna have to do that as well. You're gonna need that product to go along with your music, because we don't necessarily have to buy music from you, right?
Have other revenue streams, multiple streams of revenue.
Exactly.
Yeah. So to dive a little deeper in some of the things that you talked about, I guess for starters, on your page you have like a Linktree account that links to some books that you recommend for artists to read.
Right.
And just like you, I'm a big advocate and always learning, and that should probably be part of, or it should be part of every artist's career, no matter where you're at. Because even if you're a superstar and don't know how the business works, you're probably getting screwed over and over and over again. So it's so important to learn. What are some of your favorite resources or teachers that you love learning from?
So I have this thing where I say like my online mentors, you know, so it's literally like a bunch of people online. Some of them I know personally, some of them I don't, but I personally call them my online mentors, right? And that is like one place that I love to go to, whether it's like Instagram or even YouTube. Me going to find this information online is just like, it's a thing for me, you know, when
Right.
it comes to marketing, all of those. So like Brandman Sean, Jen's the Guru, Corey the Savior. These are like people that have profiles on Instagram. What's his name? It's another group. It's like a handful of them. Like I love to learn from these type of people. When it comes to like online, I take a lot of online courses. I do pay for a lot of online courses because not only do I like to kind of test my own knowledge, but I just like to know what I don't know, or maybe just check up on like new stuff because all of this new stuff is coming out. Ari
Herstand.
Yep.
Yeah, love his book.
Yep. Did you get the new one? Because he just came
I
up
do.
with the. Oh, okay, yeah. That boy is thick.
Yeah.
But he has like all kinds of dope information in there, and I actually had the opportunity to meet him in person at the South by Southwest. That was like maybe like 2 years ago or something like that. Yeah, so that was like super dope. But yeah, he's one person. I love his books, and I also follow him online. He has a podcast. Sometimes I listen to his podcast. Rick Barker.
Yeah,
I definitely, I love learning from Rick. I listen to his podcast, and it's crazy because like Rick, I was following him, and one day he just followed me back, and I was like, oh snap, Rick Barker followed me. And then he was checking out my content, and he actually reached out to me like, yo, you're dope, and he calls me like the female him. So I was like, that's super cool.
I heard you interview with him on his podcast.
Yeah, he put me on his, and that was like, to be honest, like that was his interview. I think was like the only second interview that I've ever done. Period.
Really?
Like I just started doing. I'm really new to this, guys.
Well, you did great. That was a good interview. I used that as my research for today.
Thank you. But yeah, so I like learning from them. I'm more like, I really like courses because I like stuff that's like teaching me step by step, but also showing me how to do things. And that's one reason why I like getting into courses, besides just like reading book. I want like some action. I want to see the action. Right. So yeah, I do that too. So that's what I like.
Awesome. I love it. So you spoke about your not knowing what your first Instagram post was. I actually have it right here. And it was 3 reasons why your music isn't being played, which I completely agree with those reasons. Just kind of refresh the listeners. It was probably because your music isn't any good. The production quality isn't good.
Right.
And you're not putting any money behind promo. Those are 3 reasons why your music probably fails, right? So I completely agree with those. So I want to, I guess, start with the first 2. Like your music not being good enough or not having a good quality production. Like, how do you know if your music is good enough, right? Because a lot of artists have a little bit of an ego and they think everything that they're working on is great. There's some artists are the opposite issue. And of course, their friends and family are going to tell them they're great because they love them and care about them. But how do you know if your music's actually good enough to put out there to where it's something where you want to put money behind and promote?
Okay, well, first I would say definitely it starts with what we're talking about, whatever your song is about, right? But the sound, the quality, I would always tell artists, what someone always told me, take your music and play it in different places after like a industry sounding song, right? Like something on the radio, play it in your car and then play your song. And ask yourself, does the quality, like, does my vocals sound like that, maybe not like that, but like, does,
like the
level, what I'm saying, like the
volume.
level, the crispness, like, can I understand my vocals? Is the beat too loud? Like, so I always tell them, like, compare your sound or your song to somebody else. And then it's always also good to take somebody like within your genre. If you want to pick a song, like, don't pick a rock song and ask yourself, does your R&B song sound like theirs, right? Yeah. So you want to pick a song in your genre and just play that song and then play your song and then be honest with yourself, right? And I would say, like, definitely, if you invested into some mixing, you should feel better about saying, like, I have a completed song, mixing and mastering. You should feel better about that, right? A lot of artists don't even invest into those things.
Right.
And that is where the quality issue lies. So first I would say start there. And then after you do that, I always suggest artists have these like listening sessions, like round some people up, whether it's online, you can send everybody the link and have a Zoom conference. If it's in person, you can round everybody up, and just let them hear the music and get their feedback. A lot of artists don't do that because many artists don't really want the truth about how other people feel about their music, right? Because it's not really about how you feel. You're not making music for yourself. You're making music for everybody else.
Yeah.
So
and you gotta listen to that feedback too, and not get
exactly.
defensive. Yeah.
And so we have a lot of artists that definitely skip that step. They create the music and they be ready to drop it tomorrow, So yeah, that's just another way you can kind of get some feedback on how it sounds. Let some other people, some random people who don't know about business, just know about what they like about music, and allow them to tell you like how they feel about it. And then you should be good to go if you're getting all like thumbs up.
Yeah. And let's say you have the thumbs up, right? So staying on the music, artists sacrifice so much time, so much money to record these songs, or even mixtapes, EPs, albums. And I know you have a rant about albums versus singles when people don't know your singles yet. Maybe we'll go there. But and then they don't budget for marketing. There's no marketing budget. So what is, let's say they add up, okay, these are the costs of a beat. This is the cost of a producer. This is the cost of mixing. This is the cost of mastering. What should they add on top as a bare minimum to promote a single from like your experience?
I would say whatever money you put into the creation of this project, you need to have at least that to put into marketing, period. Like that is like the simplest way we can put it. You need to have at least that. And like you said, artists will literally buy, they'll pay studio times, they will pay a photographer, they pay a videographer, they have a dopest video ever, and then they just drop it on Instagram and just like, ooh, new single out. And, and that's really like the end of the marketing. It's not even marketing that goes with it. And then a lot of artists like to run around it and like pay to just jump on Spotify playlists, or let me pay to get like something that's going to happen right now that will show that I have some type of something going on with this track. Like artists be so quick to do that, but we shouldn't do that either. We should literally have whatever money we're going to put into the creation. We should have that for the marketing.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I love that philosophy. And even like, if you don't do a music video, right, then your budget is probably a little smaller. But then if you spend all that time, again, more time and sacrifice, like just think about how much you're sacrificing to put together a music video. And that's pretty expensive.
Probably not cheap.
No, it's probably just as much as doing a song, if not more. So I love even the idea of, like, let's say a music video costs, I don't know, $2,500. That's pretty cheap. You have some friends helping you out, putting it together. Maybe some Full Sail students or students from some school, but like whatever you spend on that, having the marketing budget for that, because you spend so much time, money, and sacrifice on that. Don't you want to have that same amount as a marketing budget and then spend that? And we'll get into it maybe in a minute, like how to spend that marketing budget.
Right.
But what are some ways? So now artists are thinking, okay, like how do I make even more money to double the amount that I'm already spending on this single? Like, what are some ways that artists can make money, especially during like these times during COVID-19? I saw you recently put out a Instagram video on that topic, which is why I wrote that question down.
Yes. So, there are so many other things that artists can do when it comes to making money themselves. So like if you're talking about the Instagram video, a few of them that I went over, one is definitely like online performing, right? Yep. So you can literally be hosting your own concert online. Yep. You see all of the major artists doing it now. They got their little verse battles and they just what's her name? Erykah Badu did a whole concert when I think she charged each person $1. She made over $80,000.
Wow.
By doing an online concert, right? It's crazy. So we can definitely plan on doing that. And if we go live online, we can go live on like YouTube, because they actually allow you to go live privately. So you can send everybody like a private link if you don't want to just be on like Instagram live or Facebook live, because you want to charge people for it, right? Maybe you want to go live on Zoom, right? Because you know that you can control the people who have that link. So that's definitely one of the ways. Have an online concert. Another one is something that I tell artists and producers, if you guys out here have learned to do anything really good within your craft. Like,
Mm-hmm.
for instance, you're an artist, but maybe you record yourself and you've learned how to like engineer and
Right.
mix even, right? You can create your own course, right? You can be actually become the teacher, and you can start teaching other artists, hey, buy my ebook, how to record
Right.
for the first time, or
Yeah.
how to set up a home studio,
Mm-hmm.
or, you know, just, you can literally just sell anything if you've learned how to do it just a little bit better than everybody else, right? If
That's
you're
my
a
favorite.
singer,
Sorry,
go ahead.
that's my favorite. Like that, I love that you mentioned that, because I always preach about that. Because if you're an artist, you should master your craft as it is,
Right.
regardless. And if you're recording yourself, learn how to record. I mean, there's probably a certain way you want to sound, but if you don't know how to record and how to make the knobs move and what everything means, you can't really get that sound you want. So it's like hard for you to translate even to a producer what you want your sound to be like, or show them a demo of what you want it to be like. And yeah, there's so many. If you master your craft, you have so many skills. Even designing flyers, like if you master that, designing your own artwork, now you can create artwork for others. But
Exactly.
we're talking about singers.
Yeah, well, to even piggyback off of that, one thing about it is, artists, you guys really have to learn the things that you need done, right? Like, it's your responsibility as an artist to learn about engineering, because you want to be able to tell the engineer how you're supposed to sound, right?
Right.
So it's just like, it adds value to you as an artist when you know how to record yourself, or you at least know how you're supposed to sound. You know what plugins are supposed to go on your voice to get you sounding crispy, right? You just know a few things so that you can add value to yourself, so you can always be in control of your career. So I definitely tell them, like, if you've learned how to do anything, maybe you're a musician, you know, maybe you want to teach people on how to play the guitar, right? How to play the drums. If you're a singer, I was going to say, you can start having teaching other people, or doing like vocal lessons.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. And these are all done online. All of these things can be done online in live classes, where you just are on Zoom and you have your members, or it can be a one-on-one teaching session or whatever. But yeah, whatever you learn how to do, you should definitely put a price on it and teach others, because, you know, people ask you all the time anyway, oh, how do you make those beats? How do you use these softwares? How do you do this? How do you do that? Right? So it's like, why not put it into some type of training and sell that off, so you can do that. I think one of my other tips was that, what else did I say on there? It's probably some things that I actually didn't say that you can do. Besides there, you can actually take donations. You can have a fan club, right? So a lot of recording artists, so we know that there's a difference from recording artists and performing artists. A lot of recording artists that are independent, they only drop music online, right? So they only do whatever they're doing online. So they're just recording artists. But a lot of them have fan clubs. And with this fan club, they might use a website or a site called like Patreon. Have you ever heard of that? So you know, Patreon. Patreon. A lot that you can set up like a membership thing. So it's like your fans can be a part of your fan club, and then they can pay like a monthly fee, and it doesn't have to be nothing crazy. It could be whatever you want it to be, you know, like $10 a month or something like that. And they get things behind the scene, like behind the scenes footage of your videos, you know, maybe they get discounted merch, you know, just different things that just is exclusive to them. But fan clubs is like revenue that's just continuously to come in.
Speaking of having cash flow, right? The whole real estate thing. Even if you only have 50 people paying $10 a month, that's $500 a month. That's just coming in every month on autopilot. As long as you keep adding value to that community and giving them things they want to see. That's one of my favorite like ways for artists to create revenues, by having some kind of subscription model or fan club model. So I love that.
Exactly.
So speaking of like spending money on marketing, so let's say a song costs an artist, I don't know, just throwing a number out there, $500. It's probably pretty average quality. Some might know spend less, some might know spend a whole lot more. So let's say you're spending about $500 a song. Now they have a $500 marketing budget. Where would you recommend they spend that? And let's say they've done their part. They've learned, they've taken a couple courses, they've watched some YouTube videos, they know how to build some ads. would you recommend using like Facebook, YouTube, Instagram ads? And at what point does, well, I'm gonna leave the publicist out for right now, because I think in the beginning you should start with ads anyway. Like, what are your thoughts? Where should they spend that money?
I think it should definitely go towards ads. Now, I haven't really dipped into YouTube ads, which is something I'm about to start learning very soon. But definitely the Facebook and Instagram ads, they should be running ads for the music. I think the most important thing is not really as important to be running the ads when you drop something. It's more important to be running ads before you drop something, right? Because we need to be growing the fan base. So if we are running ads to our platforms like Instagram or Facebook or whatever, we are just driving the traffic to our socials. So then now we are growing the fan base. People are following us on Instagram. They're engaging with us. They're clicking the link. They're streaming, right? So it's like if we are building up the fan base, these people are going to see our content every day, and our everyday content is going to always be letting them know about music, new and old, right? And so then by the time it's time for you to drop the actual single, you've already built up all of this hype. You have all of these new fans. It's like now they know it's coming, so now they're just jumping on the single because you've ran ads before to drive in the traffic, to get eyes on you. A lot of people like to wait until they actually drop something to run ads, but you're running ads to normally like a cold audience. So you don't want to run your new single to a cold audience that don't know nothing about you. They're gonna be like, who, what is this? Right? And they're just gonna scroll past you.
I love that strategy, because that's something I preached a lot too, is like, if you're working on a single, you probably have, if you're brand new and it's your first single, then maybe it's a different story. But if you already have music out, like I always try to leverage an old video or even like a live performance or a freestyle and use that, spend a couple $100 on that just to build that warm audience up. So you're promoting to people that are familiar with you. And then I tend to create ads that retarget people that have seen that first video or have engaged with the Instagram page within the last 6 months or something like that.
You just really hit them with the sauce, because that is the technique. You know, we have to figure out who our audience is, right? So when we are doing that, we're actually running the ad to the cold audience, because now we're just trying to see who's going to take our bait, right? Our content. And it's really good. It's a really good strategy to use live videos or something that looks like it was done on accident, like somebody just caught you on their cell phone. Because if you think about it, that is the kind of content that goes viral, right? Not like your super dead up music video. Like we don't care about that. But it's like you singing in your bathroom with your girlfriend holding the camera. You know what I mean? Like people can relate to things like that. And that is the reason why that kind of footage will go viral before anything that we try to like pre-create and put all this thought into and get all the lighting and all of that, you know? But
you think about the big stars, like how many of the big stars, like how many of their music videos went viral? It's probably something they did. Like I saw a video from Lady Gaga where she's singing to a little girl at an airport, and that went viral, but none of her, I mean, yes, her music videos get millions of views, but that video actually has more views than her music videos.
Exactly, because people can relate to that. So, you know, when you're reaching out to that cold audience, it's always good to use that kind of content to attract them as bait, to be like, oh my God, this video was so nice. Like, look at her. Ooh, let me see what else she got. And then they go back to your Instagram or back to your Facebook, and then they start checking on all your other content. And as long as your content looks good, they're going to do what? They're going to follow you. And then as they're following you, as you're still relating to them through your content, and it always don't got to be about music, but as you're still relating to them, they're going to do other things like, yo, now I'm going to click on your link. Now I want the song. Now, if you start talking about any type of merch, I'm probably going to buy a shirt. You know, like now they just start giving you more and more. So I would definitely say when you're investing to the cold audience or your marketing, you got to start there. And then once you're there, when you figure out who it is, then they become your warm market, right? And then you create the lookalike audience for that market, and then it just like skyrockets for you to find, or for you to get your content in front of new people. But when you drop your actual like video, like you dropped a new video, you should really but it's a good strategy to market that to your warm audience, which is everybody that's already been engaged with you, right? Because we don't need to show a new person like a music video, but
more
everybody
likely
that's
to
been
engage,
engaged,
more likely to comment, more likely to share, which all helps with the algorithm.
Right. And it builds social proof, right, for your post, because most of us are super shallow. So we're not going to be the first person to like or comment on your new video, right?
Yep.
We need to see like some action, and then we be like, oh, let me drop my little 2 cents on here too, right? So, you know, even when it comes to ad, I don't know if this is something that you do, but I always tell people like, post your content on your page first. And then run an ad to it after you post it for a couple of days, because then it can get that organic reach or that organic engagement. And then you run the ad, and then it's hitting everybody. It already has likes and comments, and then you see the social proof, and then it makes people want to go ahead and engage with you.
Yeah, nobody wants to be the first to comment. And I would say too, before you spend money on the ad, I call it priming the post. But I get 10 to 15 of my friends. I message them all, I'm like, hey, please comment on this and like it. We're about to run an ad on this post. Most of them get it, like most of my friends, because they know what I do. So when I have an artist that I want to promote, like I ask them, hey, comment on this. And I tell the artist to do the same. So then, you know, it starts off with 15, 20 comments. And now you run the ad and people see the comments like, oh, okay, someone, it's a social proof. Someone's engaging.
Right. Yeah. But you definitely just said a key, because one thing, you got to use what you got to get what you want. And for some reason, a lot of artists don't go to their inner circle and make them like, yo, I just dropped a song. I need all 15 of my closest friends to make me a video so I can put it on my Instagram, make it looking like I got a whole bunch of fans, right? Like, it's like you don't ever, I don't know, people just don't like to do it. I don't know why, but artists don't like to do it. But me personally, when I have anything going on, it's like, I already know, everybody's lined up. Everybody already knows, my sister, mom, everybody, listen, I'm doing this at this time.
Same.
As soon as I drop it, like, you go put a comment, you go put a comment, you go put a comment, you know? So you got to have your team. They are your team. They're like unofficially your team, but you got to have them ready.
For the listeners, I live in Florida, and it storms here all the time in the summer, and the power just went completely out. So we lost some of the gems, the knowledge bombs you were just dropping. But
man.
So I guess let me ask you just like a couple more questions. I know you have to jump in a minute. I want to be respectful of your time. Let's just throw some fun ones in, what I usually throw in at the end. Tell me about the first concert you've been to, or your first memorable concert experience.
The first concert I went to, it was in Maryland, Baltimore, Maryland. And it had like, that's the first time I seen Jay-Z. So it was like Jay-Z was there. And I think I probably remember him more than like any other artist performing, because he literally was just like took over the crowd, like in such a crazy way, you know, for someone who ain't have like backup dancers or like crazy stuff to look at. But like, he was so engaging with the crowd. You know, he would go on the left side or the left side, and he would be like, yeah, everybody on the left side, put your middle finger up, point to the right side and say, F you, right side. And like, and everybody just was doing it. And then he went to the other side and everybody was saying it. Like, it was just crazy. It was like super crazy. I think that was like, that's what I remember the most from that concert.
I love it. What's the best advice you've ever gotten?
That I've ever gotten? Oh, jeez. It's a lot of them. I think one would be like, one would definitely be like, the more you earn, or the more you learn, the more you earn, right?
Yep. So true.
My daddy used to tell me when I was younger, though, which is one of like my favorite expression, is every friendship or every relationship is built off transactions, right? And he said that to me because he was basically like, you know, we have to learn growing up that if we want to be in certain rooms, if we want to talk to certain people, like, we have to pay to get ourselves there so that we can get ourselves in front of whoever we need to get in front of. And then once you're in front of somebody so many times, you know, that's what's going to build your relationship. So even if I'm an artist and I'm paying one producer over and over, at some point, he's probably going to be like, yo, you spent so much money with me. Here's a freebie, right? So it's like, the best relationships are built 3 transactions.
What is something that you would like to see change in our industry?
Ooh.
That's my Oprah question.
Right. That's a tough one. For artists, for independent artists, I think it would be the access to knowledge.
Mhm.
Because I think like with independent artists, they literally make a decision like, okay, I want to be an artist. I love to do music, right?
Mhm.
And the only thing that they really know to do is what they see from the major artists, which is like, okay, they're recording music, they're putting music out, they're going and performing, they're turning up, they're at the club, so it's like artists only see that side from major artists, and a lot of times that's the only thing that they do. They don't even really know to get a LLC for their business. They don't know to trademark their name. They don't know to register for a pro and register for Sound Exchange and how to upload lyrics, and it's like they don't know, they don't see this, so they don't know these things until someone finally says something that triggers it.
Right.
You know, because at the end of the day, it's like you don't know what you don't know, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I think the aspect of education needs to come out, and I think it is coming out more. I think a lot of major artists are really starting to speak to indie artists about what really happens in the business. Like, know this before you get signed, do this before you get serious. Like, they're starting to put out more information, but I think that it needs to be publicized more and put into social medias and pumping out to artists so that they know, like, off the bat, like,
right,
I gotta figure this stuff out first before I can even like release music.
And the unfortunate thing is all the artists that need to hear this and that all the things that we've talked about are probably not listening to this, right? So I want to challenge all the artists listening, share it with someone, share it with the things that you're doing, share the things that all the people out there are doing, or Ari's book. That's a great thing to share. Buy it for someone as a gift and say, you need to read this if you want to be successful in the music business, or at least know how things work and not get screwed. So I love that information needs to be more available. So before I ask you the last question, I'm going to link everything that we talked about in the show notes and your ways to get in touch with you. But what is the best way for people to reach you and learn about all the things that you're putting out there?
Definitely Instagram. So Instagram is like my online office. You can pull up on me on Instagram. You can see my content. You can check out my product because I have a product for you, which you can go to my bio, and it talks about everything that I offer, from my mentorship program to my consultations if anyone wants to do one-on-one. So you'll find all of that information definitely on my Instagram, and then we can just go from there.
Awesome. And then before I ask you the last question, also a quick note, it looks like it's still recording the video since you kept it on. So thanks for keeping it on.
Oh, yeah, I did.
But before I ask you the last question, just want to thank you and just kind of acknowledge you for what you put out there for independent artists, for all the great information you're putting out there, and actually being genuine about teaching and wanting to help change people's lives by teaching them how to not just learn the music business, but also how to save money and invest money and look at other revenue streams as well to really just be successful in life, not just their music career. So thanks so much for what you put out there.
No problem. Thanks for having me on the show. It's really good. Hopefully the information resonates with some artists, and hopefully they're able to use them tips and make a little slight difference in their careers. And hopefully they come on and follow me and talk to me.
Yes, absolutely. And then the question I ask everyone at the end is, what is your definition of making it?
Well, for me, I feel like making it for me is just me hitting my goals, So I'm always striving to make it because I hit my goals. And when I hit a goal, I make another one, right? So I'm always striving for something else, for something more. So yeah, that's what making it is to me, because we're all going to have different goals. Success for one person might not be what success is for me. But if you hit that bar, or if you hit that goal, you're going to feel like, yo, I'm successful. And hopefully at that moment, you get more goals that pop in your mind and you want to hit something else. So you're always moving forward instead of staying stagnant. So yeah, that's what it is to me.